If you're stuck in a rut and you want to get some new inspiration, D standard tuning can definitely do that. What does that tuning do? Where do you start with it? Chords, riffs, licks? I'm going to show you now. Alright everybody, D standard tuning, we're gonna get right into this. Let me just plug my guitar courses real quick. The melodic soloing guitar course is designed to teach you the style that I'm playing and the style that you just heard. So if you're a fan of what I'm playing in my solos and my sense of melody, you can learn that. It's totally learnable and my course is perfect for that. Check it in the description down below. Okay, D standard tuning. What do we have to do to get there? So the first thing is we have to tune the entire guitar down an entire step. So your strings are tuned in D, G, C, F, A, and D. And it sounds like this. Now you might be thinking, Joey, we just tuned the guitar down. What does that change about my playing? And the answer is it changes a lot, because listen to how good it sounds. Let's take this D major 9 chord here. Just a beautifully droning chord that you can't play in E standard. Or take this B major 9. Which is great. Great. And when you play leads, you might find that the bends are feeling pretty slinky. Which is of course because the tuning is lower, string tension is lower too. And that brings me to the next point, which is string gauges. I feel like standard D is right in the middle, where you don't have to change strings just yet. I feel like with a regular set of 10s, I have a set of 10s on here. It sounds absolutely fine. You don't have to change strings. And I feel like with this slinky feel, the guitar sounds just different. That is part of the charm of this tuning, is not to change strings, so it doesn't sound as tight. It sounds a little wobbly, and that is part of the charm. Now, the first cool thing about D standard I want to show you are chords. There are beautiful chord voicings in D standard that just sound different from E standard, and they sound different enough to make it worth having a guitar that is always in D standard, I feel like. So let's take the chords from my intro here. B major 11. It's pretty cool. So it's 8, X, 9, 0, 7, 0. Super cool sounding chord. If you combine that with that next chord, which is this one here, which would be like a G major 6, like a weird G major 6. That would be 5, X, 4, 0, 3, 0. Combined with your standard D minor and a C major. I could play that on and on and on. It sounds so dreamy, it sounds melancholic, and I could stay in that mood just for hours. That's what I like about D standard tuning. Certain chords just drone differently, and it's not so low that the definition goes away, but it's also not as bright as E standard, and that's what I love about it. The second cool thing about D standard tuning is that some of my favorite riffs, and probably some of your favorite riffs as well, are written in D standard tuning. A good example would be that very, very gnarly Machine Gun riff by Jimi Hendrix live at the Fillmore. love that sound, that single coil sound with that loose feel from the D standard tuning, and it wouldn't sound the same. It wouldn't sound like Hendrix if you weren't in that tuning, and that's what I like about it. Another cool riff, actually, that I really like, and maybe you know as well, it's a classic heavy metal riff. It's Blood and Thunder by Mastodon. It's also written in D standard. Some of the coolest songs are actually written in that tuning. Machine Gun by Hendrix, you just heard it. A lot of Mastodon stuff, but also Voodoo Child, the extended version by Jimi Hendrix, also in D standard. Some of the Beatles songs like Yesterday are in D standard tuning as well. So lots of songs you can check out with that tuning, and it's just an amazing experience. You should try it. Now, here's another cool thing that you can do in D standard, and it's arguably the coolest of all the things that I'm showing today, and that is accompanying yourself with some bass notes, because the tuning is low enough so it actually sounds like a bass is playing with you if you're playing bass notes. So if you're playing something where you have bass notes and some cool melody on top, it sounds like it's two instruments. That's just a very cool thing when you can play on your own. You don't even need another instrument, because with just a couple bass notes you're adding to your melody, you're already in that zone where it sounds like there's just a bass sitting right next to you. A couple recommendations from my side before you get into this. I would get into this tuning with a guitar that has a fixed bridge like this one, just because if you're having like a Strat or anything like that and you have to adjust the treble to that kind of situation where either the spring tension on the back is just off or your tuning is off and nothing really works anymore, that's just frustrating. Try it with a fixed bridge first, and if you feel like you're such a fan of that tuning, you can go and adjust your tremolo guitars later. The other thing I want to encourage you to is try this with a single coil guitar. I know down tuning is notorious for being used by heavy metal guitar players and all that stuff, but it actually sounds best, in my personal opinion, with a single coil guitar, because all that brightness from single coils, all that sparkle, it stays, and that combined with the low bass strings just gives you like a low tuning, but it still has percussive strings, and that mixture is perfect. I think that's the best sound that you can achieve in a low tuning. Do that and have fun playing in D standard tuning. I hope you learned something. I hope I gave you some cool ideas that get you out of your rut, that you can experiment with, and that give you some new inspiration. And I've been Joey. I hopefully see you in the next one. Bye.